Welcome to another exciting video of Excel Secret Series.
Let's look at today's topic straight away. Today we'll have a real life scenario. You have to develop an Excel graph within a very short time. Imagine a highly pressurized day in your organization and your boss has to attend to a very urgent meeting and your boss is highly depending on your work. You have to deliver a graph within a very short time. So let's see how we can develop a graph within no time.
So in this example, we'll see we're going to analyze last month regional sales. So how we can develop a quick graph? So this is the way. Carefully monitor how we can get a graph within a very short time. So first you select the data which is relevant to the graph. Then you press Alt F1 as the shortcut key. It will immediately give you a graph where you need to do few adjustments to make it presentable. Can you see this cross mark here? Press that cross mark. Always try to tick these 4 boxes. So after that you have to come to these axis titles. First title will be your financial values. So always make this a link. Go to the formula bar and press equal and select the financial value title, that is sales, and come to the next axis and go to the formula bar, press equal, select the next title name, that is regions here, and then you need to select the proper chart title. You select the place where you need to put the title and create a link again. Say equal and select the chart title and say enter. So chart title will appear.
To change the size of the graph, you can use these edges to increase the size of the graph. And so that's it. Now you are ready for the first discussion with your boss and get your boss's advice for the changes and improvements to the graph. So now your boss is going to propose changes to the graph. So now let's see how quickly we can incorporate these changes to the graph. So as the first change, your boss is proposing to have the target figures also in one of these columns. So we'll bring the target figures and we'll see how we can incorporate it to the graph. So for example, I have the target figures in the next sheet. I'll bring it and I'll paste it to the relevant place. So now immediately I have my target figures here. So I need this target figures in the graph. So how can I incorporate it to the graph very fast? So this is the way you can incorporate additional data to the graph. First you select the chart, then chart will reflect the data area that is already covered by the chart. So what you have to do now, you have to click the place where these two colors meet, the maroon color and the blue color. So the error changes moment you go there and just drag it to the right side corner. So it automatically picks the values that is relevant to the target. So now you have the target and the actual figures as proposed by your boss. Now you can see a place where these two values are overlapping. The actual and the target figures are overlapping at certain places. In order to make this little more presentable, you have to do another small change. You have to come to this cross mark and then you have to go to data labels. Moment you go to data labels, there is a small arrow mark. So when you select the arrow marks, there are several options. For the first one, for the blue colored one, the actual sales figure, you go and select inside end, and the target figures you go and select inside base. Now your actual figure and target figures will reflect in two different places. So there is more clarity for the viewer who can easily identify what is the actual figure and the target figure. So now we have incorporated the first change that is proposed by the boss. And then as the second change, your boss is proposing to have the average figure also in the graph. So let's see how we can incorporate the average figures to the graph. So let's say this column is average and then we will use average formula to calculate average and select the actual sales figure out of which the average should be calculated. Average is there. So you come to this corner where the cursor changes to a cross mark and you double click it. So for all the rows you can get the same average. But can you see the average has changed for different columns? It can't be. Average should be the same value for all the regions. So I have intentionally done this mistake just to show you what we have to do, how we can freeze the area to calculate the average properly. First you have to select the area in the formula bar which represents the total sales, and after that you have to press F4 in your keyboard or function F4. So based on your keyboard, F4 or function F4 you can use to freeze the area. And now the total sale is properly fixed. Now you only have to double click, the entire area will be filled with the average. Now as the same way we have to incorporate this average area also to the graph. So we'll do the same thing. We'll go to the graph and graph will show the data area. We'll come to this edge where two colors meet and we'll again drag to the right side. So now we have successfully incorporated the average also to the graph. So after seeing this graph, your boss is of the opinion that the average should be a line graph rather than a column graph. These two will be column graph and the average will be a line graph. Now the challenge for us to incorporate a line graph within a column graph. How we can incorporate two different types of charts. So this is the way you do combined graphs. First you have to select the average columns and right click and go to the chart series type. In that you have to come to the final option called combo. This combo allows you to have combined graphs. So let's see how we can do this. So these are the three columns that you have in your graph. One is sales, other one is target, and the final one is average. So only the average now you are going to convert as a line chart. So already it's a clustered column. After selecting this option, I have several options. I select this option lines with markers where I can get a line chart, and then I'll say okay. Now my average is converted as a line chart from a column chart. This is the way you can incorporate two different charts in the same chart. Say you want to change the color of this line. So select the line and you right click and you can get this fill color option. Say I want to change it to the red color, and outline also you have to change it to say a black color. So it's more visible now. Now your average column can be properly seen. We have successfully incorporated all the changes that your boss wants. And now this graph is in a very presentable state. Before we conclude, we'll learn another small thing where you can make the graph little more presentable. When you go to this paintbrush, there are two types of options. First one is the chart style and the other one is chart color. There are two groups in this color. So first one will give different colors to the bars that you have. Here you can change it to different colors. But the second group will give you dark and light colors. Based on your boss's preference, you can select whatever the type that you need. This is the final thing that I need to share. Now we have done all the changes that our boss wants in the graph. So that's it. You can prepare a graph like this within 2 minutes in a highly pressurized situation in your organization. So if you watch this carefully, there were lots of learnings that you can incorporate to your professional life. I hope that you enjoy the video. So subscribe, comment and keep in touch. Let's make this a continuous learning experience. Thank you very much for watching.